but there is this metaphorical gray cloud that hovers over today's game. And for those that are maybe confused when you're listening, or maybe you didn't get a chance to catch the game, this is probably, more likely than not, the last game at Wrigley Field for both Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ as Chicago Cubs. And it sucks, right? And, you knew about it coming into the day, and Willie got the standing O like you had mentioned, and these guys got a lot of love today. And, one of the cool things, and I want to read the tweet here from Tony Andracki. After the game, he talked to Ian Happ, and he says, Ian Happ said the fans in left field bleachers signed a ball and gave it to him today. He said, quote, all the fans, they're there every day no matter what, no matter the weather, April until now. They're there every single day, and they care so much. That was really meaningful. It is different here. All these Sox fans and all these other sons of bitches around the area. I'm getting a little hostile now. It's different here. Yeah, because your team looks different. No, it literally is different here. Being a Cubs fan is totally different, especially in today's day and age where, players are probably more connected to the fans than they ever have been because of social media and because of the way the internet works right now. Like, that's cool. That's very unique to this fan base. It's very unique to this fan base. And it truly is different in Wrigleyville, and as a member of the Chicago Cubs and as a fan of the Chicago Cubs. And that just goes to show the fans care about the team and the players. And they really, over the last few years, have developed these relationships with a lot of these players via social media, right? We saw Wilson Contreras did an autograph signing with, friend of the program, Joe, and over at Obvious Shirts, and met a bunch of fans and did a lot of cool shit. Ian Happ's been there a bunch of times. Happer's done a lot of cool stuff around the community as well. I think what hurts so much, and then the hug in the dugout, by the way, for anybody that didn't see that, go check it out. Taylor McGregor, I think, was first on the video of Ian and Willie. They were the last two to leave the dugout, and they embraced and just a big bear hug. And it was it kind of put it all into perspective that this probably is their last games at Wrigley, and it sucks. And this is where, Joey, I know you said you were going to get a little frustrated before the show when we got to this part. I am too. I didn't think I was going to, but now it's kind of funneling out as I continue to talk. This sucks. It sucks seeing guys that you care about that are good players. Sure, last year it felt inevitable, right? I remember back in 2016, they were talking about 2021 with that Cubs core, right? Like, that was inevitable, I feel like, because we heard about it constantly. It had years and years to matriculate. With Ian and Willie, it's a little different, right? These guys are very much homegrown. Both, Willie signed in 2009 as an international free agent, and Ian drafted in 2015 as a first-round draft pick. And it really did kind of feel like coming into this season that these guys might be here for the long haul. Maybe not so much Willie, right? The Willie rumors have been around all year. But then Happer comes out and has an all-star caliber year, and all of a sudden now, according to, if you believe everything that Jeff Passan tweets, which he's probably the most connected insider out of all of them, apparently everybody and their brother wants Ian Happ now at the trade deadline because he is such a unique baseball player. Plays very good defense, arguably Gold Glove caliber this year, especially in left field. He's a switch hitter, and he's actually hitting from that right side of the plate now. But fuck, man, as a Cubs fan, this sucks seeing guys that you love that you could honestly make an argument for them to have a future here, right? Again, I think last year it sucked seeing KB get traded. It sucked seeing Javi get traded. It sucked seeing Rizzo get traded. The Rizzo one hurt the most. A lot of people might remember. Cody and I went on the microphone. Shout out to our boy and friend of the program, Cody Delmendo. We cried. We fucking cried on the podcast when Rizzo got traded. And you know what? When it happens, there might be some tears shed with guys like Happ and Contreras because of how connected they were to the city as players. And when you have guys like that and having to see them today, like, again, you just won 6 in a row, but these guys are tearing up because they don't want to leave. They don't want to be traded. They want to be here for the fucking long run, and they're not going to be. And, again, who knows? They could totally pull a 180 hoodwink on us, and, like, if the Cubs convention comes back next year, they, like, magically appear at the Cubs convention, and they're like, we're back! But, like, realistically, odds are.
That'd be a hell of a day.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome. I'm not going to hype myself up for it. Like our good friend here at On Tap Sports and Jonathan Nani says, never get up for the letdown. But, like, dude, it sucks. This is the wake-up call, I think, right now is we're going to go through this pain again of another trade deadline and seeing two players that we absolutely love as Cubs fans get dealt. And then we're going to see some of these youth coming. And then you better fucking believe every Cubs fan is going to be screaming from the rooftops this offseason to Ricketts that it's
they already are. I mean,
either this team needs to start competing or eventually we're all going to get tired of watching our favorite players that have connections to the fan base get traded because you're trying to accumulate assets. Guess what? You've accumulated a fuck ton of assets. Really have. Minor league system looks awesome. Probably the best it's ever been. I would argue the minor league system right now has higher potential than it did when the original core came up.
It certainly has more depth.
Absolutely. But holy shit, man, it sucks watching guys like Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras embrace in the dugout like that, with both of them knowing, coming off of all-star campaigns, might we add, that they're probably in the next 7 days going to be on different ball clubs. And holy shit, that sucks. It really does. And I don't want to take away, because I want you to share your thoughts on this too, Joey. But
no, I'm enjoying listening to you because I agree, man. Like, it fucking sucks, dude. I never want this to ever happen again. And it wasn't supposed to happen. None of this was supposed to happen. We're in this situation now, or the Cubs are in this situation because they chose a lane and they started going down it. This started last trade deadline. It actually started before the season when they traded Yu Darvish, right? That's really when it started. It kicked off everything, and as Ron hit somebody,
I totally missed. I tried to throw a can in the garbage, and I totally missed. I was chugging that one, pouring it out for Willie and Ian. We're gonna really hashtag crackle. But continue. Sorry, I totally missed the trash can. That's all.
I was just hoping you didn't kill somebody. That's all.
Nope. Nobody was injured in the making of that ridiculous clip of me freaking out. Sorry.
Highlight reel. Man, it really sucks. We all knew this was coming, and I think I said it at the top of the show, but even though you know it's coming, and I did not know with Hap, right? Now this is confirmation. This game, and really just a couple of days ago, I kind of came to the realization that's Hap's probably going to. There's too much smoke around his name for him not to get traded at this point. And his value is at an all-time high. So I understand the reason behind it, but it sucks. It doesn't matter what the situation is. We shouldn't have to do this. And I hope this is the last time. Contreras and Happ have meant so much to this organization, to this team, to this fan base. You mentioned the signing with Contreras at Obvious Shirts. I mean, Obvious Passion comes to mind when you think about Contreras and Happ. Both of these guys really, really care. They show it on the field. Mm-hmm. Contreras, even today, his last game potentially as a Cub at Wrigley Field, what happened when Wilson threw inside to him? Bryce Wilson.
The other Wilson.
Yeah, the other Wilson. He gave him a little, stare down. And then he ran, and I was actually watching both broadcasts. I had my tablet, and then I was watching on the laptop. Two different broadcasts. I'm watching the Marquee one and I'm watching the Pirates one. Why? I don't know. I'm just a fucking weirdo. But I'm listening to the Cubs.
You're not a weirdo, Joey. You're not a weirdo at all.
But yes, I definitely am. What they said, the guy was freaking out. He's he just stepped on the mound. How could he step on the after he grounded out that at bat? He stepped on the mound. Now he rubs up against Bryce Wilson. Oh, they're gonna, and Bryce Wilson just kind of looked at him, whatever. But that's what I'm talking about here. The passion with Wilson Contreras, we saw it with Javi. We saw it with all those core players. There was a little extra passion. Maybe that's what it takes more times than not to achieve what they did. You have to have big balls and you have to have passion, right? You have to, it's talent, but it's also to get over that hump, to do what they did, to achieve break the 108-year curse, right? It takes a little something extra. It's not just talent on the field. You have to have the mental toughness. And a guy like Wilson Contreras, he's had it. He's had it his entire career. Now, and it's just on full display every time. We've had the privilege of being able to watch him play for as many years as we have. I mean, he came out with a bang. I remember driving in the car on that Father's Day when he hit that home run in his first at bat. You had a great story about that as well because you were at that game.
I was.
And my dad's like, "Who's this kid? Who?" Like he'd never heard of him before, and I'm like,
most people didn't.
Most people didn't. I go, "Dad, that's Wilson Contreras. I think he's going to be fucking good." And I'm just going nuts in the car. He wasn't just fucking good. He was really good. I mean, people want to talk all they want about his framing and stuff, and that's fine. His framing has not been the greatest. He still has thrown out a lot of runners, so that part of his game has been very good, nabbing runners. And, now they're putting him more in the DH role, but it's like, look at what the season that he had offensively, this first half of the season, now that they did that for him. And I feel like, I understand, like, you're a 30-year-old catcher. It's tough to extend a 30-year-old catcher. This is a business, and Contreras understands that. It still doesn't make it any less sad, right? Same thing goes for Hap, because Hap has so many connections within the city, has made so many great connections. He's been, everybody tunes into his podcast, The Compound, like whether it's the coffee, like Ian Happ, in my opinion, people were sleeping on him so much, and he still doesn't get the credit that he has earned, I think, at this point in his career, because the amount of, they talked about a little bit the All-Star game, but the amount of like ups and downs he's had in his career for him to truly take off this season, the first half of the season, we're actually now going on a full calendar year of Ian Happ's excellence here. I was looking at the stats that was posted. I think it was like,
it was right about this time. Yeah, I think it was right about this time last year that he started to pick it up.
Mm-hmm. He really started to pick it up about this time last year, and post All-Star break, post deadline, he just went absolutely nuts. And that's the guy we saw in 2020. So he just had a really bad first half. There's no other way around it. The first half of the season was awful last year, but he also had a lot of bad luck, and he was hitting the ball into the ground a little bit too much. So once he started to make a little bit of an adjustment at the plate, he really started to show that he's Ian Happ. And I still think he can hit 30 bombs in a season. Like, I don't think we've seen the full potential of Ian Happ still. So that's what makes this even more tough when you talk about a guy like him getting traded and this being his final game. Obviously, all the feels when you watch those two guys hug and the length that they hugged, and just like it sucks, man. Like watching Contreras get handshakes and hugs as everybody walks down the line, and then Happ to the bleachers, giving him, like, putting his hat or glove on his chest. I forget which one, but with the bleachers. And you mentioned the autographed baseball. This sucks. I don't ever want to deal with this again.